So we enrolled a part of our property into a conservation program. This one here in particular is tree and shrub planting for wildlife. We did 2 different programs. Another one is feather edging along the wood line at a different area. But the state will send somebody out to your property to evaluate your property, and it's all based on the waterway. So you have to have a waterway that either surrounds or hits an edge of your property, and our farm starts at the mountain and kind of rolls down towards the water, so pretty much all our property will affect a waterway. So there's all kind of programs that you can do: tree plantings, summer grasses, winter grass. I mean, you could look it up. There's a bunch of different things you can do on your property, but it depends on the size of your property and the water. So a lot of people will ask, well, how much do they pay, you know, per half acre or acre that you enroll into this? Well, it all depends. It depends on the evaluation of your property and the size of your property and the program that you're using and how much of that land you're going to enroll into the program. All right, there's 3 separate plants here. This is a clump of crabapple trees, all individual trees that are started in one pot. I got that from a native tree nursery, a local native tree nursery to my house. These are 12 crabapple trees. They came in 2 6-packs, and when they came mailed to the house, they came in a smaller box than this one. And as big as these are, these plants were in, the roots were in like little cubes, like little 2-inch cubes, like they were cuttings that were started in these little cubes. So they don't have like a big root mass, they're just little cubes. And then these are hazelnut trees that I just got from a nursery called Morse Nursery. But I just got these, and I'm like so impressed like how these are packaged, these hazelnuts. It's, the box is so heavy. I thought they were going to come bare root, but they're not. They're in this really thick box, and it's heavy, real heavy. So I don't know how they package these things, if they're actually in pots or what, but we got to check this out. I think I'm going to have to cut the box just to get them out. I don't know how they got them in there. Well, that's pretty neat. Inside the main box was another box, and it's strapped real good. That box was stapled to that one. That's why I couldn't pull it out. So far, I'm really impressed with this Morse Nursery, because they actually give you the tree pots, and they're the big ones too. That these, look at the roots coming out of this thing. So this is good. So not only do you get the trees, but you get pots too. When you get them from here, the roots aren't disturbed at all. They were started in these pots, and you're going to plant them right from these pots right into the ground. So they're not as stressed as much as other plants. Wow, that's pretty good. All right, we're starting to plant. We're going to do the old assembly line here, right in line with our blueberries. We're just going to line them up, and I'm going to go past with the little Honda generator and extension cord, my little auger. Instead of doing it with the shovel, we're going to try to do it the fast way, because of course it's raining and cold. I don't know, it might be 50 degrees and raining, but hey, look at this clover. I say this every time, but I haven't mowed it. I'm trying to experiment not to mow the clover and actually let it go to seed and let it reproduce it, let it regenerate itself all in here. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna start sidetracking, so I got to get started. Now that's a good hole. We got a rhythm going on.
I get past the grass clump there.
Yeah, like the first thing it does is it tries to scrape all the grass roots out, which makes it not dig. It just spins on the grass roots, so I got to take the roots off. Boom, baby! Bam! We're rolling. Now it's going to be all right. I'm just dropping off these little garden stakes. On each one we got 30 holes dug already. It's pouring down. Well, it's raining. It was pouring a minute ago, but you can see our 2 rows here. We already got 30 done. I think that only took 20 minutes. Were we here? Half hour, maybe?
Maybe half hour.
Well, that's just to dig the holes. So now I'm going to bang all the stakes in. And Miss Oxford 821 there behind the camera, she's lining all the plants up me, which takes the longest time. So we got a little assembly line going here. We're working our way all the way up this field. So far, so good. I'm just dropping off these stakes for the cages that we got to make. That's going to be the long part, is cutting wire and making all the cages for everything. All right, we are rolling. Wow. Working our way up, getting all the holes dug, lining all the plants up. We'll plant them after we're done, but these are the hazelnuts. I'm real excited about these. How cool is it to be able to plant your own food? These are hazelnut bushes, trees. So what I did, nice pots. Look how they send that. I said that a minute ago, but look at the roots on this. What a great pot. It was probably actually grew in this pot. So I dug a hole twice as deep and as wide as the pot, and I'm mixing in a little bit of builder sand. Not playground sand. Playground sand doesn't have any nutrients in it. This has silica. This is just regular builder sand. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of sand in with the soil for these trees. And then the big pots down there are the Allegheny chinkapin, which are like miniature chestnut trees, but they grow like bushes. But they have the burr on it, just like a chestnut tree does. And there's 20 of them in the middle there. And you can see all the bags of sand. So they're going to have sand mixed with those. And I dug, those pots are so big, I dug 3 holes for every pot. So 3 holes, like the width of it is 3 holes I dug and deep for each one of those trees and bushes. So that was a lot of hole digging. But I'm gonna pop these 5 in the ground now because these won't stand up by themselves. All right, don't shoot. So I took it out of the pot. A little bit too low, so I'm just mixing in a little sand and a little bit of the dirt that came with it in the hole here.
Why do you need sand?
It has that silica in it. Like these trees just like clay dirt. They need like well-drained soil.
Okay.
And the silica that comes in that builder sand, I don't know, it's some kind of nutrient. That's what the place said. I looked it up too, certain trees like certain areas, certain types of soil.
Oh.
So it's not pure sand, it's not pure dirt, so I don't think it's going to hurt either way. They're just not going to sit in a swampy mess, that's all, like a packed down hard. So we'll see what it does. It's just more time consuming to do it this way, but if that's what the plant is going to work with, that's what we're going to do.
Now we have to keep it alive, right?
Right. This sucker's almost done. And I'm pretty sure these hazelnuts, they don't grow like a tree. It's going to grow like a bunch of branches. It's going to have branches everywhere. It's going to be like a big bush. But it's going to be good because I'm putting them here along the road. The road's right there, so it's kind of like going to make a screen right here. So all the animals down here eating it all will feel a little bit safer, maybe. Look how pretty that is. All right.
Look at his face. He's filling in every hole we
He's
dig.
going back and he's filling the holes as I'm digging them. He's pushing the dirt back into the holes. I already had to go back and with the auger and pull the dirt out already. The holes I dug.
All right, so moving on to the next one.
All right, can you give me the post hole digger up here? I want to pound the stake in. All right, here's the Allegheny chinkapin, the ones that are like little chestnuts. And I got my sand, just like the hazelnuts, and I'm mixing 50-50 sand in every hole. And of course it's raining. It's raining right now. But we've got a bunch in so far. They're hard to see right now because there's no stakes or nothing, but I got the 2 rows in here. We've got a bunch of crab apples already in. Miss Oxford 821's working on the black huckleberry. How often do people plant huckleberry? There you go. Well, heck, how often do people plant Allegheny chinkapin? Probably never. All right, we got all the trees planted except for 30 crab apples. So we did, I don't know, maybe almost, let's see, we did 30, 20, that's 50, and another 15, 60. We did about 70, 75 trees so far, but it's getting dark, so we're going to switch to doing wire to get those trees that are in the ground protected from the deer tonight. So she's cutting them to length over there and getting me the pieces, and then I'm twisting them together. You can see the twist that I'm doing. I mean, you don't have to do every one. You probably could have just did 3. 1, 2, 3. I lift them up to weed whack around them all the time, and I noticed that they tend to come apart if you don't. And this is galvanized fencing, so it'll last for a while. It's got to last for 5 years. That's it. Give those trees a chance to get big enough. Now I just spread some bales of straw, some hay around in between here, busted off the strings, and then we'll spread it all around the plants here so they don't dry out. I gotta get more. Look at all the cages down there. Look how pretty this tree is. Come take a look at this. This is one of these Allegheny chinkapins. They grow a burr on it, a real small burr, about that big. It's like a chestnut, but it's small. It's a single nut inside of a burr. I don't know if it grows into a tree or a bush, but it's called an Allegheny chinkapin. So I consider it like a mini chestnut. But all the planting's done. We are done planting, and now I'm just putting my hay, old hay around all the plants for mulch. And a couple more cages to cut for the stuff I planted last. And this is done. So let's see, what do we do? So down the bottom, we've got 2 rows of high bush blueberry, 30 of those. And then rows 3 and 4 are, I'm real excited about this, it's black huckleberry. Like, how often do you get huckleberry? And you can find it up in the mountains, but to actually have planted huckleberry. So there's 30 of them. So 30 blueberry, 30 black huckleberry. And then these 2 rows here, look how pretty that one is. These 2 rows are the Allegheny chinkapins. And I think there's 20 of that. So that's 30, 60, 70, 80. So that's 80 plants. And then I have 2 and a half rows of crabapple trees. And there's 2 types of crabapple trees, and I think there's 30 of those. And then way up on the top up there with the white ribbons along the road is hazelnut. So there's a bunch of hazelnut trees up there. And I still got to get cages around those crab apples. They're the last ones I just did. And then up there in that corner, I got to weed whack that right now, but that's our pears, glimmer pears. I forget what they're called. Christmas apples or something, but they're late dropping, very like December dropping fruit for the wildlife. So it's pears, apples, crab apples, and some cherry trees up there, just regular fruit up there. But this is going to be done here. I'll probably be done this, I don't know, in an hour. I'll probably be all done. Looking good. Excellent. The weather, the rain and all, will just pack this down like mulch. It's basically mulch, right? It'll keep the weeds from growing out of it. That this is a black huckleberry. That's its fall foliage color right there. Nice. The next step, I got a bunch of T-posts. These are just like 10 cents, 15 cents more than just a regular flat garden fence post, like the flat green ones. So the T-posts are a lot more metal, so I just picked them up. But I'm sticking them in the ground where I had these little tiny wooden posts that I've had. I already put the hazelnut ones up there. But I got to do all these down here. I think the blueberry bushes and huckleberries would be all right because they don't get too tall. Well, the high bush one does, but for now. But the chinkapins and all, the crab apples, I'm definitely going to put the higher posts on. Look at the color on this blueberry. Isn't that pretty? Look at that sucker. It's sticking nice. Here is the finished product, all done. Wow, I really wanted to get this done, and man, it was bothering me thinking about this all the time, but we finally finished it. We've got the 2 rows of blueberries here, all the way down. Everything is mulched and caged and staked, spacing. It actually looks really nice, even though it's all these cages everywhere, but it actually looks pretty nice. 2 rows of huckleberries here, 30 of those. So that's 60, 30, and 30. There's 60 plants right there. I think I had to have 100 and some trees here, which I planted more than I needed. Here's the 2 rows of the chinkapin, Allegheny chinkapins. Right here, there's 20 of those. And we're coming up here to crabapple trees. 2 different species of crab apples, and there's over 30 of these. There's a bunch of these things. 2 different species. Look how nice these are. They're beautiful. They all don't look much. I mean, it all doesn't look like much because it's the middle of October, so there's no leaves on them. More crab apples come all the way up to here. 3 rows of crab apples, pretty much. And then up top here is their hazelnuts up there. And then I have my regular orchard here, but these trees here are late droppers for wildlife. I think I have the tags on them somewhere. Yeah, I put tags on the cages. Yeah, Enterprise apples. That's what I thought it was. Enterprise apples, and I think it's Glimmer pear. Here's one up here. Let me see what this tag says. Glimmer Christmas pear. Yeah, that's like late dropping fruit for the wildlife. But yeah, the finished product, all done. A bunch of cages. So this is a 5-year plan. So I have to maintain this for 5 years to get the payments from the state. And then I planted plants that would be here for a long time. So a lot of guys will get little cuttings of dogwood, red osier dogwood, and just stick little plugs in the ground and, you know, do it the really cheap way. But I chose to spend a little extra money on potted plants that we could actually use, and the wildlife, and be here for a long time. So it turned out pretty nice. It was a lot of digging. YouTube magic, Hollywood magic makes it seem easy, but it was not easy. It was a lot of digging. I didn't get to show all the rocks that I had to pull out, all the pounding of the stakes in everywhere, but it is done. Looks good.